All right, welcome to Creator Hardware, and today we're going to talk about storage options for content creators. Now let's talk about setting up your system. I recommend you have a main drive that is your operating system where your editing software, Photoshop or whatever are all installed on, and then have a separate scratch disk for all your footage, your assets, everything you're going to need to, well, edit your videos. On this system, I've got two 1 terabyte SSDs. One's my operating system, one's my scratch drive, and it allows you to not, one, fill up your main drive while you're trying to edit and run out of space. So let's talk options on that scratch drive. Now the first option we're talking about is, well, the old reliable hard drive. Now this is literally a spinning disk, and just like a record player, in order to find the data, it has to move that pointer and find the data on the disk. This is going to be a limiting factor when it comes to editing more than basic footage because, well, they're slow. When you import your footage into like Premiere Pro, it is still pulling that footage off of your hard drive. It is not actually in your program, it is just reading it off of your hard drive. So when you go to edit and it's stuttery and skipping, and it could be because your hard drive is your limiting factor because, well, read and write speeds are only so fast on a hard drive. A better option instead of a hard drive is something like this, a SATA SSD. Now an SSD uses flash memory, which is like a memory card. It is way faster. Now, the limiting factor for these drives is the SATA interface. They can only go as fast as the interface will allow it. That's gonna be a theme. For 99% of the content creators, adding a SSD like this to your system as a scratch drive will speed up your editing considerably, will save you a lot of frustration. Now, hooking up one of these is really easy. This does not have to be mounted. A lot of times, double-sided tape, stick it somewhere. You need a SATA cable and SATA power. Every Windows-based motherboard is going to have a SATA port on it. There may only be two, but they'll always have a port on them. So you can always hook this up. And because it's a standard, every power supply is going to have a SATA connector available for it. So you can always add one of these. And again, you don't have to mount it. It's flash memory. You can knock this around. You can literally double-sided tape into your computer. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is what I use, and it is MVME storage. Now there's PCI Gen 3 and Gen 4. Now depending on the motherboard and system you use, your system may not be compatible with Gen 4. This one is Gen 4, so I have both Gen 4 MVMEs in here. My older system that I game on now has Gen 3 in it. Now here's the thing about it. For content creators, you will never saturate the read and write speed of a decent MVME SSD. Now, there are SATA spec MVMEs that are limited by the SATA spec, even though they plug into the NVMe slot, they're just slower. Now this one is a 980, it has a 3500 read and write speed, more than adequate for any content creator. The thing about it is, as long as it's a true M.2 SSD, you will never be able to saturate that bandwidth no matter what kind of footage you're using. You know, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K RAW, you're even editing on that, you're not gonna hit bandwidth. So you have plenty of headroom no matter what you're doing. Let's talk external storage. Either you have a laptop or you don't want to tear down your computer, take it somewhere, have them install a drive. You know, in a laptop, you may not be able to install a drive. Well, they sell enclosures with hard drives in them, and I don't recommend them. Why? Because you're bottlenecking the heck out of an already slow system. You're using the SATA system, and then you're going through a USB. So it's gonna be as slow as, well, snot. A better option for portable storage is something like a T5 drive from Samsung or another portable SSD. Now I have these because that's what I use to record on my Blackmagic, but these you can edit off of. You can literally plug it directly into your computer and edit off of this, even Blackmagic RAW. You can edit off this because it is fast enough to do that. Now, highly recommend you hook up to USB-C because it is the faster interface over USB 2 or 3, but it is something you can definitely do. You can hook this up, transfer your file from your SD card to this, and then edit off of this. This is the best option if you can't add internal storage. Simple, they're not that expensive, and trust me, these are just great to have around because, well, terabyte of extra storage. And if you're using a laptop, these come in really handy. Now, a few other options are like a Synology NAS, and again, you're going to be limited by the connection between the NAS and the hard drives in the system, and you can run into some bottlenecks, but it is an option. You know, a lot of people that edit off of NAS use cache memory and a 10 gig card. I don't have that, so I don't edit off my NAS. I edit everything on my local computer and then transfer to the NAS after I'm done. So I hope this video was helpful. As always, hit record, hit upload. Thanks for watching. This is Creator Hardware.